and welcome everyone to a new team episode of the Bleeding Metal podcast. This one will also be a short break in the transmission of the Tuska Forum 2025 episodes that we've been bringing out. So stay tuned for the last batch of 3 more episodes that are coming from this year's Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal. My name is Kiki, my pronouns are she, her, and I am happy to be here again with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Martha. My pronouns are also she, her.
On these team episodes, we talk about what has been going on in the world, in our lives. So how are you doing, Martha?
Our listeners don't know yet, but I am pregnant. I'm going to have a baby in February, and unfortunately, I'm a little tired all the time. The nausea almost stopped now. So unfortunately, I missed Arctangent Festival in Bristol, UK, but everything I've seen on social media and what my friends who went told me was that it was absolutely amazing. The lineup was very good. I will see when I can go back to the UK in the future. But yeah, Kiki, I saw also on Instagram that you've been to a few cool events, and I'm happy to hear all about it.
Yes. Talking about Arctangent, we saw Lulu was there, and that looked like a very cool experience from the backstage and having the artists that she manages play. That's a really cool perspective and insight into the festival goings on and the metal industry in general. So if you haven't listened to our episode with the mother of bands, Lulu Davis, we are going to link that episode in the description. Follow her as well on social media so that you can see these glimpses of the behind the scenes as well. But yes, I was at 2 festivals in one weekend. That was crazy, but it was also extremely fun. The first festival that I was at was this huge pop and mainstream festival called Flow here in Helsinki. Flow was at Suvilahti at the same venue as Tuska Festival, but it's bigger. They have a whole other block of ground. So that was the first thing that I noticed, that it was much bigger. I think in terms of people attending the festival, it's also bigger. If I'm not mistaken, Tuska has about 22,000 festival goers each of the 3 days. And I think Flow has about 10,000 more each day. As we know from other music genres in general, the infrastructure, the decoration is a little more intricate. There's a lot more going on visually. That was really cool. I was interested in a few artists, not too many, but I actually did want to see a few artists. My first impression was really weird because one of the big names that played on Saturday was Air. I don't know if you know them, Martha. It's this...
Oh, I don't.
Air is this French EDM band, make very chill electronic music. And I had known them for years and years. One of the few acts that I actually used to listen to decades ago. And they were playing one of their albums in its entirety, and it was coincidentally the album that I actually listened to and knew most of the songs from, and it's called Moon Safari. They're going on tour with that album, and I was super excited about it. The main stage where Air was playing had this huge screen as a background. It was just enormous, and the main stage also had a catwalk, so it was this whole very pop festival kind of thing. But then Air is a trio, and they came on stage, and it was just this cultural shock of there is not a lot going on stage. And there was also not a lot going on in the audience either. I was in like the 3rd or 5th row. I was very much in the front to see them, and there was no mosh pit. There was no fast playing of guitars or anything. That was when it hit me. Everything in the festival was great until I was standing there ready to see this band play, and there was energy. It was a great performance as well, but it was very, not what I'm used to.
It's like with these old metal bands who also have old fans who all just stand in the audience headbanging a little in front of them, but nobody's really moving. But everybody's happy.
Yeah, kind of like that. I guess it also varies in metal between subgenres because maybe doom or maybe experimental progressive, things that are very intricate and very atmospheric. Maybe you don't mosh and maybe you don't start a wall of death in a circle pit, but that was the first moment I had my mind blown and I was underwhelmed, let's say it that way. And the big headliner of the first day of Flow was FKA Twigs, and someone recommended it to me. I was very excited to see them as well. And this was also, it transported me to a completely different world because the performance was, in my eyes, more of a ballet, of a modern ballet sort of thing. There were at least 10 dancers on stage and the choreography was incredible, very well performed, but there was no live music really. There was no band. I think the singer was lip syncing. Yeah. Not my type of thing.
Yeah, we don't love that.
But otherwise, there were several DJs playing as well. There were several dance floors. That was a pretty cool experience as well. There was a DJ, I think, from Colombia or something. That was really cool. That was kind of it for my first day of Flow.
Yeah.
The next day started with me meeting. Shout out to Karina Gos from Henki Press. She is a really cool photographer from Mexico. She lives here in Helsinki though. And we had been following each other on Instagram for a while. And we finally met in real life. We went out for brunch before Hellsinki Metal Festival. Then we went there together. And the first band to play on Saturday was LUNA KILLS. And that was so cool. I was so looking forward to seeing them play because LUNA KILLS closed the cold stage at Tuska last year on one of the festival days. And they were so hyped that we could not get in because the venue was full already. The cold stage at Tuska Festival is indoors and they had reached capacity before the band had even started playing. LUNA KILLS is an up-and-coming band from Finland and they are very well-deservedly hyped. It was just really cool to see them bring such a strong energy to the stage. Even though they were the very first slot, there was not a lot of people at the festival yet, much less in front of the stage, as it always is when you get an opener slot. But Lotta and the rest of LUNA KILLS, they still brought on a lot of fire, a lot of energy. They even got a little tiny circle pit going. It was amazing. Also, the weather was amazing. Hellsinki Metal Festival has 3 stages. It takes place at the ice hockey hall, but also its surroundings. So the main stage and a slightly smaller side stage, and both of them obviously never play at the same time. And the third stage where the darker, true metal band played was inside the ice hall. And so you could also escape the sun if the weather was good, and the weather was really good. It was not too hot anymore, but it was really sunny. So LUNA KILLS really killed it. Afterwards, the members of the press got a little bit of a tour around the festival grounds, and we got to see a little bit of the backstage and how beautifully it was decorated as well. And then inside the ice hall, before you actually go inside, that was full of little booths selling art and books and handicrafts and goth clothing and Viking horns. But also there was a lot of art and photography being displayed and for sale. And afterwards, I got the opportunity to chat with Toni, the maker of the festival. One thing that he told me before, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but one thing that he said was that He wanted to make the festival cozy and comfortable. And that definitely was, because inside the ice hall, you were able to use all of the seats if you didn't want to stand in front of the stage. And outside as well, there were a lot of places to sit and still have a really good view of the main stage. So throughout the day, you were just able to sit and enjoy food and drink while watching the bands play and perform. And that makes Hellsinki Metal Festival really unique. But yeah, here's my short conversation with Toni from Hellsinki Metal Festival. Hello everyone, and welcome to a new short interview on IRL Talk in Hellsinki Metal Festival. And this is the festival promoter. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I'm Toni and I'm the promoter.
How long ago did you start the festival?
Well, this is the third edition of the festival, so it's pretty new. We're still practicing on doing this festival. It's going a little bit better than the first year and the second year. And we want to do things a little differently than others. I wanted to make an event where I enjoy being myself. So if I enjoy it, I'm very comfortable in life, so I need it to be comfortable as well. So I think people like it when it's comfortable, and yeah.
How do you define that? How do you define comfort at a festival?
A lot of places to sit on. Seats.
Yeah.
A lot of seats. That's comfortable. Also good food, good variety of drinks.
Yeah.
Ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were hearing a lot about the ice cream that there is at the backstage, so...
Yeah, you can buy the same ice cream on the field, on the festival grounds.
Yeah. You chose festival grounds that are also pretty much in the middle of Helsinki. We're here at Helsinki Ice Hall. It's very accessible with public transport, and I'm assuming as well as for wheelchairs and people with disabilities.
Yes. Last year we made a bigger plan for that. It was made by a student as a student project. So we have like an accessibility concept. Yeah. And it's important.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Throughout the press tour, we just did a press tour surrounding the festival grounds, and you touched some topics that are very important to me and to the Bleeding Metal podcast. We're just talking right now about the accessibility of the festival, but also about mental health.
Yes.
That was something that is also represented in the festival itself.
Yes.
What's your experience, your motivation to do that?
I have been suffering from mental health problems pretty much all my life, but mostly as an adult. I'm going through my childhood and my youth right now in therapy and stuff, and I've also noticed that a lot of other people within the metal scene has the same issues. So I wanted to bring it in front. I don't want to hide anymore. I want to tell everyone I've been suffering from mental health issues all my life. I tell it openly, and I want everyone else to have the same possibility to do it, so they don't get, ostracized or thought bad about.
Yeah.
I wanted to make it easier for people to discuss about it and talk about it.
Absolutely, that's really important. The therapy is also very important, and that's so good that that we can talk openly about that.
Yeah.
And I think that the metal community is very vocal about it.
And a lot of people find comfort in the music.
Yeah, and also a place to actually let out difficult emotions in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Another topic that is really important to us is diversity in the metal community. And that is why we have always been amplifying the voices, especially of women in metal, but also of people of color and people from the LGBTQIA plus community. Do you also choose the bands with that kind of perspective?
I always keep it in mind, but that's not the main point. The main point is to have quality. But of course, I think about it. I lived in a household with women all my life, so they're important to me. I'm a vocal anti-fascist. Fuck Nazis,
Indeed.
So it's close to my heart.
Awesome.
And I think about it when I book. because it's part of my life. It comes naturally. Yeah.
That's really good, and I think that many more bookers at festivals and concerts should have that lens as well.
Yeah. But to say that I book bands only because they are women or they are men or they are whatever, that's not the main point. The main point is that I book quality, but of course I keep in mind everything.
Yeah, the thing is, of course, that there are a lot of very diverse bands that can deliver that quality.
Yes.
You just have to look for them a little bit. We just saw this earlier today. LUNA KILLS opened the second stage and start the festival day with that.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible start. They delivered a very strong show. They are skyrocketing right now.
Oh, yeah.
They are the rising stars of
I know.
the modern metal.
I know. I take pride in picking up on the smaller acts here and there, and I follow them intensely. Yeah. LUNA KILLS is one of them. I booked them before I even saw them live.
Yeah.
Because I saw that there's something there.
Yes.
There's something there. And yesterday we had Rabbit Cult on the main stage. Two young girls with body metal. They're also doing really well. I fucking love new stuff. Giving opportunities, big stages and stuff. I like it.
Yeah, and that's the only way that metal can actually grow, bringing in new perspectives from women, from diverse people, from other marginalized identities. That's how the music gets also better, because it brings other elements, and there's innovation and growth.
Yeah, because metal for me means freedom. Yeah.
It has been a pleasure to meet you, and I hope that we can keep coming to Hellsinki Metal Fest next year.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else you want to say to our audience?
Take care of yourselves and others.
That was a really cool conversation, and as you can see, I am pushing my agenda. Asking festival and concert bookers to book more women, because it's definitely still necessary. A few moments afterwards, I got to talk to Lotta from LUNA KILLS, and that was also a very cool conversation that got really emotional really quickly. Let's watch the conversation I had with Lotta from LUNA KILLS. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another IRL talk from Bleeding Metal. Today I'm here at Hellsinki Metal Festival, and I am here with Lotta from LUNA KILLS. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you. It was a bit early start for us because we started this day, but you know, doing fine.
Yes, you opened the day. There were not so many people, but still on the big stage and everything. It was a really good start for the festival day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, did you feel like the audience was reacting well?
Yeah, I think I saw that people were really hungover for the most part, but that's okay because it's the second day of the festival and everything, so I totally get it. But yeah, it was a great show.
It was. I was really impressed. I really like your music.
Thank you.
I was super happy to see you on stage because last year you played Tuska, and if I'm not mistaken, you were headlining the Tuska Cult stage on the second or third day.
Yeah, I think so,
and so it was packed. I couldn't get there anymore.
Yeah, it was packed. It was like mayhem, the whole show. But yeah, today was more room for everybody, I would say. So
Yeah, absolutely. From there, from headlining the smallest Tuska stage to opening the second main stage at Helsinki and launching your debut album, already signed by Sharptone Records. It's been a whole lot going on right now with you.
Yeah, we have had a super busy year. We have had a lot of shows, and we still have the last shows of the year like fully backed up until November, I think. So really busy all around.
Yes.
And we're trying to start writing new music and everything as well. So busy.
Yeah, that's right, because you're going on tour soon.
Yeah, we have a few headline shows in Finland, and then we are going on tour with Blood Red Hourglass from Finland. We're going on a small Euro run in October. So yeah, and then we have more Finnish dates coming up after that. Yeah.
Right, that's awesome. But can we get to know you a little bit better? Can you tell us a little bit about growing up? Where are you from? How was your childhood even?
Well, I grew up in Kuopio, and I still live in Kuopio, Finland. I had pretty normal childhood, I would say. I've always been into music and performing and everything, so my parents were really supportive, and I had tons of hobbies and everything like that.
How did music come into your life?
Music actually came a little bit later in my life when I was in my teens. I did songwrite when I was first grader. But I a little bit gaslighted myself that it cannot be that easy. I wrote lyrics and composed silly little songs, and I thought that it was too easy for me, and writing music shouldn't be that easy. So I quit it because I thought that it was too easy. It took a little bit time. When I was a teenager, I started to learn how to sing, and I had singing lessons from different vocal coaches, and I went to learn jazz singing. And after that, I really wanted to have more rock band type of vocal work and maybe even a band. But I didn't know anyone who would want me in a band. So after that, when I was in my early adulthood, my cousin Samuli, who is actually LUNA KILLS' guitarist, after this day, he asked me if I would want to come and sing with him on his rock project. And from that point on, I've had a band. We were under a different name when we started, and then we evolved into LUNA KILLS after that.
Right. How did you start listening to metal?
When I was little, because we're from Finland, so everybody listens to metal and rock music and everything under that sort of umbrella. My dad was a huge music fan. It didn't matter what genre it was or anything like that. He listened to everything, so I picked up my favorite, I think, more rock artists like Doors and Whitesnake and bands like that. And when I was in my early brooding teenage years, I heard about Nirvana, and it was like a huge influence for me. I really loved Kurt's lyrics and the songs, and I think he had similar feelings that I was going through. And I think a lot of young people who discover Nirvana's music can relate to the texts. And after that, it just started to snowball into heavier and heavier and heavier music. Yeah. And I think I was in 8th grade when I started to listen to Cannibal Corpse and bands like that. And then I a little bit moved to lighter music and rap, but I listen to everything. So, but I love metal music because it's so expressive, and I just like the headbang, and I like the aggressiveness of the music.
Yes, and as you were saying, that's a little bit of an output for different kinds of emotions that we all go through. Yeah. You are also very vocal about mental health and how you pour that kind of thoughts into your lyrics and into your music. Yeah. How is that process for you?
That actually is something that I picked up on when I was younger and when I was in my teens. I used to write poetry a lot, and I think that sort of became the basis of my lyric writing process, that I would just pour my emotions and write down things that I was going through or I had gone through, because it was more easier to reflect on my own emotions and the sort of traumatic experiences or such afterwards when I was putting them on paper. And it was just really easy for me to then put it on music, because I thought, and I still think, that I can truly express myself through the singing and through the music and through the lyrics, and it helps me heal my own self when I'm doing that on stage and when I'm putting it down on music. But it's just like introspection of my own feelings and emotions, and it's really important for me because it's like a therapy form for me. Yeah, for sure.
Is that something you talk about with your bandmates as well?
Oh, they know. Sometimes they read my lyrics and are like, "Are you okay? What are you going through?" But yeah, they know that it's really important for me to write the lyrics so I can truly express the music, and that it's authentic and it's me. And I think a lot of people go through those sort of emotions, and I know that in our band there are similar experiences for everybody, so it sort of reflects them as well.
Yeah. That's right. We recently had a talk with Skinned, and she said something really important and illuminating, and I think it's just so right there. But she was like, we all have a mental health. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. And also in terms of, we all have traumas. Some are less traumatic, but we all have these imprints from early childhood and from growing up. That's how we are kind of conditioned to live our lives. Yeah. And then sometimes they kind of collide with other people's, because they are also bringing their baggage into friendships or relationships or whatever we're talking about. So it's really important for us all to know that we need to take care of our own mental health. So it's really good that you are kind of an advocate for mental health in the metal community.
And it means a lot to me when people that listen to our music tell me about the things that they have gone through, and maybe if our music has helped them to go through those things, or I have worded their own emotions in a way that they can understand themselves better now. So that's really important for me. And I've said this many times that I think mental health issues are still a little bit taboo everywhere. So it's really important to share your experiences because they may reflect on other person's experiences and they can feel seen and heard.
Yes.
And feel kind of normalcy because sometimes mental health stuff makes you feel like you're abnormal or you think that other people can't understand what you're going through, but then you can find people that are going through the similar experiences or something along those lines because many different things can make you go through depression or things like that. So it's important that people can feel seen and heard.
Yes, absolutely. We tend to isolate ourselves when we're going through difficult stuff like that, maybe not to be a burden on someone else or maybe because we feel no one else is going through this, but that is actually not true. And it is also really important to know that in my opinion, everyone needs to go to therapy, and it's really important to have professional support and professional help as well.
I've had therapy on and off. I did go to a therapist when I was in my teenage years because I had severe depression back then, and I think I still do, but that's a story for a different day. But on and off, because I still think that it's a little bit on the expensive side if you want to have like longer relationship with a therapist. And I think that's really important to have the same person. If you find someone that understands you and can help you, I think a longer relationship is better than like those on and off patches because then you have to get to know the new person again and again. I have experienced that it's maybe on a little bit like pricey side.
That is super interesting. Maybe we should dig into this a little bit because we are very privileged in Europe to have healthcare. It's not really free, but it's a lot more accessible than in countries like the United States or Latin America where I come from. It's a lot more accessible, which is great, but there are other types of challenges and hurdles because you need to be on a waiting list for at least 6 months to get a therapist.
That's something I think Finland is experiencing as well. So the waiting list can be super long, and I think there are good telephone lines and everything like that, like crisis phone numbers and everything you can call, and that's really good to start to get help for yourself. But like I said, I think people could benefit from the longer relationships they could have. So that's something I think should be more accessible to people because the waiting lists are super long here. But that also varies and depends because some jobs offer you therapy as a part of their healthcare packages and everything like that. So it depends, but all around I think it should be even more accessible. But you're totally right, we have it better than in the United States, for example.
Absolutely. And I think especially nowadays it should be even more accessible because we're living in a world that is on fire, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff going on politically on the globe, as well as climate change, and it's really difficult to try to function when we see in real time through social media as well how people are dying in war. And so it's something that even if it doesn't affect us here physically, it's still in the back of our heads and it's kind of weighing down. So do you have maybe some words of courage for people who are having a tough time nowadays?
Well, I can only say that you should find something that makes you happy. First and foremost, you should try to get help if you feel like it, because that's the most important thing, that you're taking care of yourself. But I think everyone should have something, a hobby or anything that makes you happy, or something in your life. If you find yourself in a place that you cannot see anything, you cannot see the light, I think you just should try to concentrate on what makes you happy or what could make you happier in life. But yeah, first and foremost, encouraging everybody to get help, because it's not weakness. You just need to take care of yourself, because it's the most important thing.
Absolutely. And luckily, one thing that makes you happy is singing, and you do that very well. And now that you mentioned the jazz singing lessons that really showed on stage, you have this amazing belt and this very strong and powerful voice that I think connects and transmits your feelings very well as well. How did you get into screaming?
I was feeling like I want to express myself even further, because I have this big anger inside of me, and I thought that I really need to project it in some way into the music as well. So a couple of years ago, I just opened up YouTube and started learning how to scream, so I could have more range and different techniques to express the emotions that we're putting into our songs. So that's how it started, basically.
So you're self-taught.
Yeah.
Have you had coaching in that regard?
Just YouTube.
Okay.
And experimenting. But I have the background in jazz singing, and I have very good clean singing technique. So that helped me a lot on figuring out the screaming and extreme vocals for myself. So I'm just having fun exploring what can I do with my voice even further.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good foundation to then start experimenting, and also that knowledge helps you take care of your voice as well, so that's really good.
Yeah.
And expressing rage is something really important right now. As we were saying, there are places in this world where human rights are not exactly respected and are being kind of taken away. So it's really good to see women also supporting each other. And you just brought out a single with a German band, Letter Sent Home.
Yeah.
And that was really amazing. We see more and more women in metal coming together to collaborate. Tell us about that song.
Actually, Letter Sent Home contacted us last January or something like that. We are in the same label, Sharpton Records, so they contacted us through them. And they just wanted to collaborate with us because they wanted to have some sort of breakdown section in the song. They were having this song about toxic relationships, and they thought that it would complement their style very well if we would do something for the song. And we just said and we had a Zoom call, and we wrote a part of that song in our end, and they wrote the demo in their end, and then we just joined the parts, and that's how Bloom became. And we actually met each other in Brighton last May. There was this showcase festival called The Great Escape, and we both were playing there. Yeah. And we shot the little promo videos and everything there. I was actually so sick when we were filming. I had been sick for like 4 days, and it was like horrible experience for me because she's so beautiful and she was like so alive, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sick. But yeah, it turned out great in the end. They are really awesome people, nice and warm people, so we really love to work with them. And the song is amazing as well.
Yes, it just came out. We will link it in the description. Is there anything else you want to say? Do you want to invite the audience to see you on tour this fall?
Definitely, you should come to see us on tour. We are touring around Europe. We're touring in Finland. Every city and venue you can find from our social media. And I hope you listen to our music. I hope people stay healthy and stay safe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I loved how Lotta was really open about her mental health and how she was really chill with all of the different topics that I brought up. Afterwards, I watched Landmarks play, and I was able to go very far in the front as well, because even though a lot of people were watching them, not everyone was standing actually in front of the stage. That was just really chill and enjoyable. We all had like personal space. I had no trouble getting to the front of the stage to see Landmarks play, and then also very swiftly leaving because I had to jump on a bike and go back to Flow Festival in just a half an hour because I had to see Beth Gibbons play. That was the only act that I was really looking forward to and really interested in watching from Flow Festival on Saturday. She is the legendary singer of Portishead. She is now touring with her own project. The performance was amazing, but it was also many of the things that I always say that I don't like when metal bands do that. Just perform with jeans and a t-shirt, not really have coordinated outfits. When bands don't really have a lot of production on stage, that was the case. All of those were the case. But I think when you are that huge of a legend and your voice does all the work, we can forgive all the rest.
Okay. That sounds awesome.
Yes. It very much was. Afterwards, I didn't really see much more of Flow Festival, but the next day was all Flow because Hellsinki Metal Festival was only 2 days and Flow Festival was 3 days. I mostly spent the last day at the different dance floors, but for me, the big star of that day was Lola Young. She has this very Adele-like voice, and she did sing live. That was really cool. Yeah, another case of singing live, but not that much, was the big headliner. I was again underwhelmed by the biggest headliner of the festival, Charlie XCX. I think she did sing live, but there was also a lot of backing tracks. It was just her dancing with a microphone. It was as if we were watching her party and work the catwalk as if she were a model. That was it.
Did the people like it?
Yes, I think so.
Maybe we don't have to try so hard with our bands, Kiki.
It was a whole experience. I really enjoyed being able to be part of that world for once and experience it. I really enjoyed the double festival weekend that is also closing up my summer festival season. And that's it from us today.
Yay!
Yes, we will be back, as I said in the beginning, with 3 more episodes from Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal. And afterwards, we will go back to having our talks about current topics, as well as new guests. In the fall, there are a lot of new albums being released, so we will for sure have a few artists come and talk to us about important topics relevant to the metal community, as well as tell us about their upcoming music. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching, for listening. Don't forget to rate and review us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.